lovely good morning and welcome to Camnet TV's Rise and Thrive Breakfast Show. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter to be with you for the next 1 hour. Now do remember that we are live on Topstar Channel 106, also streaming live on Facebook, YouTube and on the Kenstream app. Let's get into it. We go straight into our segment known as the Zooming Headlines, where we look at various tabloids and what they are saying this particular morning. Let's start. Okay, we get straight into the News Diggers. Now the News Diggers comes up with a screaming headline that reads, "If you don't vote well, you will go back to being beaten, HH." That statement is attributed to the Republican President Hakainde Hichilema, when he was in Southern Province yesterday. He did make mention of that. Those that followed his broadcast in Southern Province can attest to that. And obviously the News Diggers captured it, and hence the headline. Sub-headline on top there, Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ responds, "We don't know strongholds in an election." Okay. Below, there's a sub-headline there. China donates 5,000 HIV test kits to Lusaka. Below that, field one candidate to make an impact in 2026. Capita tips opposition. People are admiring roads constructed under UPND, says Honorable Charles Milupi, who is the UPND Alliance chairperson. Okay, and he is the Minister of Infrastructure. He says people are admiring roads constructed by or under the UPND. Okay, let's go to another daily tabloid. On the other side, we will be taking your calls. Dear viewers, come through and let's get interactive this particular morning. Now we go to the Must. The Must reads with a headline, "Thieves can't investigate themselves. Chief Chipepo says those stealing drugs are in government." We have Mr. Vincent on the line. Mr. Vincent, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very well, Mr. Vincent. Good to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Where are you calling us from, Mr. Vincent?
I'm calling you from Kalingalinga compound.
Okay, fantastic. What's latest in Kalingalinga? What's happening there?
What is happening? Yeah, the main subject that I can bring it on the attention of our people.
Okay.
Is we experience some other time we experience the water shortages, which I don't know exactly what is really happening, like why we are experiencing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did it take? You're talking about water shortages. How long did it take?
Experiencing this for the past 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yes, exactly.
Wow. Okay. Kalingalinga is in which constituency, Mr. Vincent?
Sorry?
Kalingalinga is in which constituency?
Kalingalinga is under Munari constituency.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
And you are saying you experienced water shortages for 2 weeks?
For 2 weeks now. Yeah.
Wow.
So you find like when water comes today, maybe just after 2 hours the water goes, and you find that after maybe 3-4 days there's no water.
Wow.
So you find that people, they would rather go to the filling station, which is nearby, like Arikinkata Road. There we have got Puma there. People will be rushing there to go and fetch water because those people, they have got boreholes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Any other challenge?
And another challenge that I can raise on, which is supposed to be on our concern, is the issue of milling meal. Like last time, what happened with the depot that we have here at Kalingalinga nearby top 10 there, last time there was an incident which happened there, which a lot of people who stay in Kalingalinga, they can testify to that.
Okay.
Yes. There was another person who was situation which usually happens there, like people are pushing each other.
So, Mr. Vincent, you are saying somebody broke their leg
Yes,
in an
exactly. That's
attempt
what
to
happened.
buy
And that
millimil.
was not like maybe I was just told, but I was able to see it with my own eyes.
As an eyewitness.
Yes, I was the eyewitness on that one.
Okay, and where was this? Was it in Kalingalinga?
In Kalingalinga, so that right now I can say it's 1 month ago now.
Okay, when that incident happened.
Yes.
Okay. And this particular millimil, what brand was it?
Sorry, come again?
I'm saying this particular millimil that was being bought, is it that from a shop? Is it the one that is brought and sold at a cheaper price?
Yes, exactly the same millimil which is being supplied by our military personnel, which is the ZNS, which is the Eagle Milling, and also this one, the one which is being supplied by the CSZ, which is the
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So those are the two challenges currently in Kalingalinga of Nari constituency.
Those are the only concerns which I can be able to raise at the moment.
Okay. Any appeal to the relevant authorities, Mr. Vincent?
Sorry, that's what I'm appealing like. If we can be helped, like, especially on the millimil, what I was thinking is if our local authorities can implement something like this, we don't have this depots like this. If they can be supplying them, like putting those millimil in a lot of shops, like everybody can able to access that at a given point, not whereby someone is going in a queue, like a lot of people, they are pushing each other, they don't even follow queues. So that is my concern. That is, if they can implement something like it, everyone can able to access that millimil at any given point. Like when you go to any shop, like you can access that same millimil.
Okay.
I think that can help. Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Mr. Vincent, thank you so much.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Like today you have answered my call because I've been trying to call you.
You are always welcome, Mr. Vincent. It is a busy line, but thank you so much for being patient and thank you so much for coming through. We do appreciate you.
It. Thank you so much. Please work well.
Thank you, Mr. Vincent. Thank you. Okay, you viewers can do the same like Mr. Vincent. Please come through. Tell us your concerns in your area. What is the latest? What is happening?
I will definitely do that, please.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so you come through and let us know like what Mr. Vincent did. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll be joined by our guest, Mr. Musenda SIMUYEMBA from the M4CE party. We'll see you on the other side.
Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, midday news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel. Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. Camnet TV is on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and find us on channel 106 on Topstar. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us, and we are joined by our guest, President MUSENDA SIMUYEMBA from the Movement for Change and Equality, joining us this morning to discuss national matters. President SIMUYEMBA, good to see you and welcome.
Good morning. And good morning, the people of Zambia. It's been a while.
It has been.
We're in the countryside,
Okay.
trying to interact with the grassroots.
Okay. How are the grassroots, and how did you find your time in the countryside, like you put it?
It's very, very exciting. But to put it this way, the people of Zambia are very stressed and very challenged.
What makes you say so, President SIMUYEMBA?
You know, the cost of living is evidently beyond the reach of an ordinary Zambian, including the middle class, which is almost diminishing to being nothing. So what we have evidently is that we have the haves and the have-nots.
Okay.
So there's no middle class actually.
Wow. Okay.
It's very, very evident wherever we've gone. We've done about 11, 14 districts. It's very, very clear.
Wow. Okay. Mr. SIMUYEMBA, as per custom, you are aware that we do have a segment here known as the zooming headlines, where we look at the newspaper headlines, and you get to choose which headlines to comment on. Dear Director, let's go to our daily tabloid so that President SIMUYEMBA can be able to comment on some of our headlines. If you don't vote well, you will go back to being beaten, HH, in the news diggers. Those words were said in Southern Province yesterday. Mr. President, your 2 cents.
It's just unfortunate that the sitting president can comment like that. And one of his mandate as a president is to actually uphold the constitution of Zambia, in which constitution protection of the Zambian people and the rights of Zambian people is actually on his menu. So it's very, very unfortunate that a sitting president can comment like that. What maybe was reported out of context, because I don't expect a president to say such a thing. That is for people like Max Moe, who are the political commentators of the UPND, but not a sitting Republican president. That's very, very unfortunate. What maybe he should have said is that there will never ever be any beatings of people, any harassment of people, even when I'm long gone. That should have been the statement from him.
What's wrong with that statement, President SIMUYEMBA?
As political as it may sound, it's got a very telling effect. It's actually bribery or trying to extort votes from people using fear and intimidation. That's what that statement
Does it sound like a threat?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's go to another newspaper, dear Director. as President SIMUYEMBA continues to comment on some of the headline. Thieves can't investigate thieves. Chief Chipepo says those stealing drugs are in government. That's the headline on the Mass newspaper. President SIMUYEMBA.
Very loaded, very truthful, and very concise.
Okay.
You know, we don't have to say so much about it. How can I'm a police officer, I'm the rapist, I'm the one who goes to investigate my own case? It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
Yes. So the whole thing about the theft of drugs is a well syndicated scheme by those who've been privileged to be given the mandate to govern and superintend over the stewardship of this drugs, per se, treasury and the like. So investigating themselves, it is a non-starter. So it will be tailored to what we've seen before.
Okay.
So with Movement for Change and Equality, we are changing the whole governance structures.
How?
To deal with investigations and protection of the public and public properties. How will that be done is very detailed in our governance blueprint, but I will be able to say this at this forum, that all these investigating wings will be under the public protector.
Okay.
To us, they will be under the public protector. And the public protector will not be appointed by the president. He will be elected independent of all these elections and independent of all this we've got a system in which we are going to elect, because this is going to give oversight. What Parliament was supposed to be doing, now the public protector will be doing this. He will give oversight to all these government wings, which is the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. The public protector will mirror. So he will be elected, or he or she will be elected, and that office will be very independent of these wings of government.
Okay. Let's move on to another newspaper. Okay. As President SIMUYEMBA continues to give his 2 cents on the headlines. The Daily Nation comes up with a screaming headline: name and shame big medicine thieves, JCTR.
Going back to JCTR is asking, is just demanding.
Demanding, yes.
It's just demanding whether those who sit in government will be able to heed to that demand when we know that there's been so many demands on this particular government, and even so many pieces of advice on this government, and nothing seems to have been coming forth. They put a bit of plugs and they've become deaf. This contrasted with what His Royal Highness Chief Chipepo is saying is that how can a thief shame himself that I'm a thief? He must have been delivered of evil.
Is it the case of the kettle calling the pot black? Okay. Let's go to the last one. Okay. The Daily Revelation comes up with a headline: Minister Tali called me dash. Obviously, you are able to read for yourselves. Those 2 words, not TV friendly, however, it's there. Says the DC. President SIMUYEMBA, there has been a conflict from way back through successful governments. District commissioners and members of parliament. The members of parliament are saying, look, the district commissioners use government resources to campaign secretly while hiding in the veil of inspecting our projects. And the district commissioners are saying, look, we are just we are just doing our job. This is our duty to see what is happening in our districts. So there has been that conflict, balance of power between the district commissioners and the members of parliament. Hence that particular headline coming through.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't like to comment on such naivety. That's naivety to us. The real issue is the structural formation of a government.
Okay.
We've got the DC's office, and we've got the member of parliament's office, which is in the constituency, and then we also have the city fathers, who are the civic leaders, the mayor, or the town chairpersons, and that. To
Okay.
us, I think in streamlining the governance structures, the office of the district commissioner should not exist.
Okay.
It should be abolished.
You do all with it?
We'll do
as
all of it because
M4CE?
it doesn't do anything.
Mm.
It doesn't do anything apart from doing COVID issues, political expediencies. It doesn't do anything.
Okay.
District administration, if you are devolving the central government powers and their functions, then you give it to the council. That's why it's called the local government.
Okay.
So why should you even entertain central government in local government? Then you are trying to say we are devolving, at the same time you are saying we are taking back. So that's district administration. District administration should be left to the local authorities, which is the local government. And that local government is part of the whatever. As we are even moving a step further,
Okay.
is that we will have only mayors, we will not have town chairpersons, and we just have mayors classified. This particular town council is maybe a municipality or a city council or just a town council, and then but we have only mayors, so that there's a bit of homogeneity in the way we look at things. Escalated beyond that is that we are also thinking very, very strongly on the functionaries of the vice president to be. We are thinking of having a vice president who also be a local government minister.
Okay.
It sounds a little bit
Confusing. Yes. Yes. Make us understand.
We are thinking we can put a bit of more functions to the vice president, because president is elected together with the vice president. So we are thinking, can't the president deal with central governance, then the vice president deals with local government? We are thinking towards that.
Okay.
Yes, and that we are not going to have provincial ministers.
Okay.
We're going to have provincial governors who will be civil servants.
Okay.
Yes, they will not be elected. So that the provincial assemblies can be of much sense. If we're going to have elected them, we're going to think on the mechanism, but right now we are thinking that having provincial ministers is a waste of money, it's a waste of time.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go back to the issue of.
And in that light, we're trying to reduce, because we've worked out a mechanism of reducing the cabinet from the current 38, 39, 42 to about 15. 15, yes, our cabinet will be 15. We want to deal with this top heavy thing and the awarding of jobs to people we like or people fratern with. We want the jobs to speak to the challenges of the people, and then to reduce on the cost of running government. That's how you hear me talking about all these interplays.
Okay. President Simuyemba, I want to draw your attention again to what you as an alliance said. That you won't have a lot of ministers, you're going to have a small cabinet. You use the word small. In opposition, as an alliance, you said a small cabinet. Why should we have so many ministers wasting taxpayers' money, driving VXs? They need to be driving cheaper cars. But fast forward, 4 years down the line, I've never seen a minister driving a Vitz, a Ranex. I only see them driving the big cars, the expensive cars. So what I'm driving at is what you as politicians say in opposition and what you say in government. There are two conflicting statements. It's like you're talking to a different person.
Smarter. I've always said this over and over and over and over. You don't check a person or test a person when he gets a job. You test a person for a job when he's not yet in the job.
How do we do that?
Yes, if Zambians can do that, but the limiting thing is the institutional frameworks, starting with the laws of Zambia, the way they've been crafted. You remember I was here to debate on how we've been entrapped in being given a set of laws, which has made it very difficult for us to address the challenges as they confront us.
Then why not change it?
We need to change the laws of Zambia. Even the structures of the laws must be changed. This nonsense, I'm calling it nonsense, of piecemeal amendments of the constitution and the laws as it were, it is not helping us, and this is a formula we've used over and over and over. No legal brain has ever talked about the nonsense of the independence constitution of 1964. And that's where the problem emanates from. And the people gave us that particular document. They were thinking on how they can continue with the predatory access to our resources and continue excluding us, economic excluding us from participating into economic activities of this country, and hence perpetuate poverty, so that the slavery and dependence can continue. So with this, you can't be using something that has never worked with for you. You continue and expect that there will be different results. In there is also the education system. In there is in-ground assets, which are the minerals. In there is the donor aid arrangement. It just it's metamorphosized from one to the other, one to the other, one to the other.
Let's talk about the education system, President SIMUYEMBA. Our children, our brothers and sisters in primary, secondary, continue to learn about European history. They continue to learn in biology on how to label insects. They continue to learn about computers they've never set their eyes on. Some, especially in rural areas, a teacher is subjected to drawing parts of the computer on a chalkboard, and the student has to imagine that this is a real thing. Some have said our education system is retrogressive and we need to move with the times. We have seen the revision of the curriculum. However, some sections of society are saying it's equal to zero. We haven't done anything. There's nothing transformative about the new curriculum, as it were. We have young people in Europe that are learning about where to find minerals in Zambia, while a child in Zambia is being taught about a broken human skull being discovered somewhere in Central Province, or Christopher Columbus navigating the Americans or the Caribbean
and drinking salt water.
They are being taught about Jan van Riebeeck discovering the Cape of Good Hope in South Africa now. When a young person in China is being taught how to manufacture a phone, how to come up with a TV set over there, what is really happening? When are we going to have a transformative curriculum that will speak to our challenges currently? Mr. SIMUYEMBA, you are aspiring for leadership, and you are a government and the president in waiting. These are critical questions we are asking to you.
First and foremost, the education system,
yes,
and system that come with this this particular institutional framework is a very, very important in the transformation agenda.
Okay.
Very, very important. You see, education should speak to the well-being of community and society.
Okay.
That is real education. Now, if it is irrelevant, then that education is as good as not education.
Then why do we continue
The
teaching
issue
it?
is smarter. I've said something just a minute ago. You know, everything government does is actually coined casted in law. There is what you call the Constitution of Zambia.
Yes.
It's a guiding thing. Okay? The next are acts of parliament, which deal with each sector, each issue. Then below there, you have what you call the regulations. The regulation, they prescribe how this particular law will be implemented or undertaken. Then you go below. The fourth aspect is the laws applicable to Zambia, basically and congenitally, the laws of England. Very few laws we apply, but laws applicable, just those laws. And those the people crafted this. So they want those laws to have an indirect effect so they can continue with what they had. Because before 1964 and 1924, we are being governed by the laws of England. So they didn't want that thing to be disturbed. So they've put it as part of the laws of Zambia.
I thought we were independent.
We are extremely dependent and stupidly dependent.
Okay.
So we must bring that stupidity out of our equation so that we can start thinking about sustainable development, with starting with education, which will be the curricula, must be to answer complex and issues challenging us. That is the kind of education that we want to do. Others have yielded beyond that. You're talking about China, you're talking about whatever, you're talking about Singapore, you're talking about Malaysia, you're talking about Brazil. They dealt with this piece because education by nature actually helps unlock the potentials of the mind, and it also helps the mindset changes that come with complex issues that confront people in the existential or on earth. So this is very, very important. Education plays a very important role. We can't be talking about those things. Those things can be done at tertiary level to know this and all that kind of thing. But essentially, the education from primary to secondary must talk about how we become set for dealing with issues that confront us, and how we are going to fit also in both the labor market and entrepreneurial space. So it has to be like that. How we are going to navigate those who are dropouts, how are they going to have education that will also be equal participating citizens, even if they didn't go through this formal education. In the past, we even had education which we used to call night school. People were given that opportunity to do that. This time is a little bit obscure. Yeah? I had a PS myself when I was working in government. He was, before I joined, he was an officer.
Okay.
But he rose through the ranks with education catching him, and he became PS.
Now,
so those are opportunities.
I want to find out, Mr. Simuyemba, you are a president in government in waiting. It's very critical that we ask you these questions and it's put on record so that when you form government, we'll be able to play these clips for you and remind you.
Maybe you'll be arrested by cyber security. Yes, please.
Okay, so my question to you, I was going to ask that with the tendency that you have as politicians to appoint people sometimes who do not have even the prerequisite qualifications because they are able to articulate issues well with the command or good, they've got a good command of the Queen's language, and hence you elevate them to positions that require technocrats. Like you said, there was a PS. Before he became a PS, he was an office orderly, and he rose through the ranks. I think that's the reason why they established a named institute for civil servants to go there and learn how to...
We destroyed that.
Exactly. How to become proper civil servants. Now, my question is, with the tendency that you have as politicians to pick your relatives, your associates, people you like, people that sing praises for you, and you elevate them into these senior government offices. Mr. Simuyemba, my question is, can we have then a transformative Zambia if we keep on choosing, for lack of a better word, incompetent people in these positions that require technocrats? Are we going to have a transformative Zambia that will address the challenges in our curriculum, that will address the challenges in our constitution, that will address even the issues of bread and butter if we continue to appoint incompetent people?
Can I comment like this, Smarter? We've got a lot of competent and capable Zambians in our midst. The issue is the institutional framework of choosing people to be in this position or that position. That screening process and the systems that come with the screening so that we arrive at the correct person is called meritocracy. That must be crafted into the laws of Zambia so that only merit can, and there should be a regulatory framework. We have already crafted that as Movement for Change and Equality. One of the things we're doing in our political party is that we've got what we call administrative functionaries, which is called police functionaries. Then this is what you're calling the public service or civil service. Then we have the political functions or functionaries, which are elected, because democracy, you can't tell a person don't elect this one because this one has got this qualification. No, people elect what they want.
Yes, sir.
So we've got these two sets of people, and they are able to rise equivocably without hindrance. But there's something, you see, we should differentiate academic qualifications and capabilities and competences.
Please speak to that.
Of course, competences can be enhanced because of academic qualifications.
Exactly.
I'll give an example. You cannot take a Simuyemba who has never been to law school, then you tell him to preside over a legal functionary.
We have seen that happen.
We have
seen that happen. Mr.
Or a person who has never ever seen a drug, you put him minister of drugs.
We have seen that happen.
If they tell him that this is Panadol, when that is cocaine, how will he know?
We have seen that happen.
He will depend on being misled, and he will keep on being misled, and that misleading will rise to a policy which is coming from being misled by crooked people who are incompetent. They could be very qualified, but incompetent in the sense that these are just crooked people. They did not merit to be there. So it is very, very important that you've heard me say we're going to have a very lean cabinet. What we're trying to avoid is ministers to be the technocrats themselves. So we want to have ministers who just be there to drive policy. But now you don't find ministers doing this. They've even come down to actually be the entrepreneurs. They've also been on the other side, because it's not a crime to do business with the government as long as you raise a red flag that I want to participate in this. You've seen these dual carriageways and all these funny things. Then they also superintend on the tendering process. You've heard of the ministerial tender committee. Some ministers are even chairing illegally the tender committees of their own ministries, indirectly or directly. So we don't want this kind of thing. We want it to be very, very clear. You know,
Mr.
where a president starts procuring things, it gives you, what are these ministers, what are these technocrats?
Let me find out from you. Can we conclude and agree here that since 1964 to date, the challenges that this country has faced have been primarily caused by you, the politicians?
Yes and no. I'll say this.
Let's start with the yes.
Yes, we start with yes.
Mhm.
Yes, because politicians by nature are human beings.
Okay.
So if you don't check their excesses
Mhm.
through a legal
Mhm.
framework,
Mhm.
those excesses, they've got power. Don't forget, politicians
Yes.
are elected to have power. And this is
Mhm.
power which they use to actually govern.
Okay.
Now, if this power comes with also financial management, what do you expect? And they don't have the competences to desist and the capabilities to desist from doing the wrong things. So you find these things come into play. But if you have, that's why we're talking about an oversight functionary, which will be elected independently.
By who?
That is
By who?
that is the public protector,
Mm.
the office of the public protector.
Okay.
You remember, I will give a nominous to this, that in South Africa,
Mhm.
the public protector can prosecute a sitting president.
Yes.
Now here, a sitting president cannot be prosecuted because he's immune. So want to remove those funny gray areas. We are dealing with human beings. So there must be limitations to how far a person can go, whether you are in a big office, small office, or medium office. There should be some check. Parliament oversights have failed to check because they are equally politicians.
Mhm.
The oversight function, the public account committee, the other oversight committees there, they fail to check government because most of those sitting in parliament are coming from political parties. That's why the demand of the Zambian people from 1972 up to now, where they said ministers should not be coming from parliament, they should be chosen away from parliament. It's twofold. One, these cross-pollinating excesses will be checked and amputated. The next one will be that these particular individuals who are being chosen to be ministers will be chosen on merit using the systems that we're going to put in place. And these individuals will be like the way PSs function with the president. So they'll be functioning like that. So they're held accountable together. Not where today you are a butterfly, the other day you're a moth, the other day you're in the constituency, the other day you're a minister. How can you become an interplay into all these things? That's why you find that conflict between a minister who is always in Lusaka and the DC who is always in the district. So you find he says this one, if he stands, he can relieve it 6 months before, and he comes to stand, and you know what is going to happen? That minister is gone. Because the DC seems to be with the people.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Simuyemba, it's getting heated, and I love it this way. Our viewers, you can come through on the number that is on your TV screen and contribute to this particular discussion. Remember, we are live on Top Star Channel 106, Facebook, YouTube, and on the KenStream app as well. I had your colleague, let me say that way, whom you were with in the UPND Alliance, that is Secretary General, Mr. Mulenga Martin. I had him yesterday here, and he raised concern that your leaving the alliance was supposed to be a wake-up call to other partners within the UPND Alliance, because you were in the Council of Presidents, and that was supposed to be a grave concern. However, that fell on, according to him, deaf ears, and nothing happened. No meeting was held to check why you left, and also to look at the reasons that you had put forward on why you had left the alliance. Let me ask you this question, Mr. Simuyemba, and I'll keep on asking you this question. The UPND Alliance, what was the initial agreement?
I'll put it in one sentence. I think we had put aside, all of us,
Okay.
what we call individual partisan
Interests?
interests and manifestos to say.
Okay.
So the agreement was to deal with national interests. National interests then and still are is to deal with the escalating debt
Okay.
that the country was having.
As a collective.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
To deal with the poverty in its artificialness,
Okay.
to deal with corruption, which had become endemic,
Okay.
to deal with excesses in the administration of power,
Mhm.
and also to transform the economy for the
Okay.
benefit of the indigenous Zambian.
Let's start with the last one. 4 years down the line, are we seeing any, if we are to deal with percentages, are we seeing any percent or percentage?
We've declined.
Okay. Okay.
We've declined. We've come from here to here.
Mm.
You can go on the streets. You see, when you talk about the economy is doing, what is an economy? The economy is an aggregate of activities of the people. Even the economists, they know this simple definition.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
The aggregate of you and me, our economic activities, not foreign interests coming to do business here. That is not what it is.
Okay, let's just go on there. Let's look at the basic three principles of economics. We're talking about economic growth. We're talking about stability, economic stability. We're talking about creating employment. Let's look at these three. Let's start with economic growth. Is the economy of Zambia growing?
With those who play around with figures like Zamstat, they go and play figures. The economy should be growing.
Is that helping?
To us,
Mm.
the way we've actually assessed the economy,
Mhm.
the last 1 year, the economy is not growing.
Okay.
Simple and straightforward. There's no argument
Mhm.
or rhetoric.
Mhm.
Those who believe in a rhetoric, they cannot transform the nation. Rhetorics move there, there's no economic growth.
Okay.
Right now,
One of
we
the-
have slumped. You've heard the IMF putting figures, others the African Barometer putting out. Those are the Brentwood people who dined with this regime. And the very people they are saying, you've done very badly. You are now amongst the poorest nations. So,
Okay.
and
One
the
of-
Zambians are also saying the same. IMF is saying the same. Zambians are saying the same. Afrobarometer is saying the same. So who is only them? They can say same what Chief Paper says.
Mm. Okay. One of
Blowing your own trumpet.
one of the principles of economics
Yes, we've said
is
three.
inflation. The issue of inflation, Mr. Simuyemba. Are we addressing inflation?
No. Musokotwane is there. He could come and you ask him, are you addressing inflation? Musokotwane is there. He's lamentably failed.
Okay.
Lamentably failed in that ministry.
Mm.
Maybe he's coming from the old school.
Okay.
He's not seeing the current challenges as they are.
Mm.
The geopolitics as it is. He has lamentably failed. And he's not the one who's failed. Collectively, as a cabinet, starting from the president, is failure.
Mm.
Yeah, it's failure. Me, I call it failure. If they think they've succeeded, well and good.
But there's a document. I wish my director could bring it to me. There's a document that was presented in a video that went viral on the premises of the People's House, State House, where two senior government individuals were seen in this video clip where they removed
You're
this
talking
document.
about Lungu and Jito Kaum.
Exactly.
Forget about that. Those are employees. They just want to make the.
No, they said they have achieved 90%.
No, that's crazy. That's crazy. I'll call it crazy.
Why?
You cannot say 90% of the Zambians and you've fulfilled the promises 90%. What a lie. How can you lie like that in the cameras?
Why is
So
it a lie?
no,
Mr.
but you
Simuyemba?
can lie like that if you want to maintain your job. Even the president knows. The president is there on TV saying the country is stressed. Then a small boy in the State House says we've achieved 90%. What is that? The president himself, elected by direct franchise, is on TV talking about how stressed this country is, the problems we are going through. Then somebody says 90% of the things have been achieved. Namoni nchitomufuaya. Nawe. In fact, if I was president, I can fire those 2 boys.
Okay.
If I was 2 boys, I was president, I can fire those 2 boys immediately for embarrassing me in public like that.
Okay.
How can you tell a lie like that? And you're saying it in the doorsteps of State House. And the whole world is seeing. And you are being rated to be the poorest country after you've achieved 90% of what you promised.
So the fundamentals are not.
There's no even fundamentals there.
Okay. A light moment with Mr. SIMUYEMBA, but discussing important national matters. Mr. SIMUYEMBA, let me take you to another issue. The ambassador to Zambia, the U.S. envoy, opened up a can of worms, opened up a Pandora box, but where he even shed tears. It's there in public domain.
Yes.
But talking about the withdrawal of $50 million from the health sector. And after the press briefing, it was revealed that he and his government had held meetings with this government. Over 33 meetings, according to him, 33 meetings have been held from 2021 to date. Then the Minister of Justice comes and says he should have used diplomatic channels to address that particular issue. Mr. SIMUYEMBA, these are national matters, sir.
Yes,
You are
they
a
are national
government
matters,
meeting.
but you know why?
We need to find out from you.
Why it is a laughing matter is that smarter. I think our friends in the government did not have a clue what it takes to run a government. And again, I'm saying President Hakainde Hichilema is on record of having admitted, at least I've heard him twice, running a government is not kids' play. Ivuta. He said that, Ivuta. It's not kids' play to what they can see, you want to run a government. So it's tough. Why is it tough? They did not have an agenda to run a government, and also specifically and particularly to deal with the problems which were confronting the people of Zambia. They didn't have a clue. They went in there without even a plan. No plan.
President SIMUYEMBA, you were among these people. You dined and ate with them. You were there at the beginning of the, we can say at the recruitment of disciples for this particular administration. You are also, can we conclude that?
Can I tell you one thing? Can I tell you one thing? I was on this program and I've been on many forums.
Yes, Mr. President.
Explaining the agreed principle.
Okay.
Or to borrow from you, fundamental.
Yes.
That we are not going to run a party and its government. We are going to have politics outside the public service. So those of our friends who were elected on the ticket to go and serve, that is president, vice president, MP, mayor, councillor, they should delink themselves from political activities in administration of public service.
But we're not.
Why did we delink this? Okay. We didn't want a continuous reinculcation of the party and its government, the disease of the UNIP. Because we said, yes, the statutes are this, but can we, from a moral perspective, put a divide? And the first meeting we had as Council of Presidents in September 2021, we did agree that we should give our friend space so that he can run a government from the perspective of government statutes, not from the political whims. But unfortunately, he has negated on that.
Do you
It's
feel betrayed?
politics, this, political rhetorics, politics that, political rhetoric, politics that, political rhetoric, and now the function of delivery on a promise, not the so-called 90%. Function of delivery has been obscured by political rhetoric. Every time, the only song you hear, the UPND from president to the last person, a branch chairman, if you're told they've got even structures on the ground, I don't know. The only thing they talk about, but I hear Max Moore talking, the only thing I hear about is very simple. They talk about only one thing. The PF did this, the PF failed there, the PF did, this is a hangover from the PF. So their only yardstick of the UPND is the failures of the PF.
Okay.
So to me, I'm heavily qualified that our friends, the space we gave them was too much for them to actually undertake or work on. It was too much for them. That's the conclusion I've come, because they didn't have a plan.
Okay. President SIMUYEMBA, as we go, the people of Zambia are watching right now. That's the largest constituency that you have. You are a government in waiting, a president in waiting. Whatever you've said is on record. And may I make mention that it does not represent the views of that of Camnet TV and its affiliates. Let me put up that disclaimer so that in future we can hold you accountable with this recording. President SIMUYEMBA, your concluding remarks.
So many things are happening and very fast in the last few months.
Okay.
One of the things that I wouldn't like to comment on is the UPND alliance, because we ably delinked, and I'm caveated by my political party to continuously comment on the UPND alliance and the other alliances. The only thing I'm allowed to do is to comment on what we think we can do and how we'll do it.
Okay.
That is that. Then, to the people of Zambia out there, let's not despair. 2026 is coming. It's very important that you, the people of Zambia, where I belong, and where Kainde Chilema belongs, and all these other political players, we collectively do introspection on how to identify a political party that can deliver. Promises can be there, we've seen these things happen, but it was escalated. The bar was very much raised by the alliance and the UPN itself that we wanted this to be done, but failure encrypted us. Maybe the mistake we made was we should have demanded for an oversight on the presidency, but that was a tall order because the laws does not permit for that. So we had this limitation. So we couldn't have an oversight on the president because we were a loose arrangement, a body that is not recognized by law, and there's no coalition government, as you know. The laws do not permit that. The Constitution of Zambia doesn't permit that. So really, this was our limitation, and as I'm sure all alliances should be aware of this limitation.
Okay.
So what is key is for the Zambian people to look for a political party which has got a persuasion that speaks to a compelling national vision. We have a compelling national vision which speaks to also national security. I would urge more Zambians to come and engage us. They just look at what we have so that they will be able to contrast us with other political parties and other political actors and players, so that as we move to the 2026, they will be able to understand. But very shortly, we've been limited by one, our outreach. You remember I announced that starting from 1st of April,
yes,
we'll be able to have a state of the national address to the people of Zambia, so that we offload what we have. That has been taken because of our internal realignment. You know, we are doing district and provincial elections right now. Yes, that's what we're doing. So we want to have democracy that speaks to the people themselves, the members themselves. It's a requirement by law. So we are doing that, and I think we've been moving a little bit slower. So I think by the end of the third quarter, we should be able to start that program. We shall be able to compress it. Instead of having one, we can be having 2 every month, so that we offload as much as we can. There's a lot that we want to share with the Zambian people, so that they start engaging us. You know, we don't believe that we espouse the monopoly of wisdom. We believe that the Zambians must have a bite and they must participate. It is this participation which we've tried to get from the people of Zambia to come up with a blueprint of governing this country. We didn't sit and start doing the cut and paste, the AI kind of manifestos. No, I think we've done what the Zambian people who we've consulted, they have actually put in what it takes. And that's why we are coming up with these figures, say 15 cabinet, this, what, members outside parliament, public protector, or investigating wings will fall under that, or they will be reporting there. We are working on that, and we are even drafting bills, so that these bills, we don't come to the platform of governing and then we start having excuses as to what the UPND did wrong, or what the PF did wrong, and why we are failing to do this and that. In fact, the reason why people of Zambia remove regimes is because they failed. So when they are putting you as a replacement, you must have the answers to the many challenges that are there. Okay. So our key is that we're consulting Zambians on how we go about with this and that challenge. So at the end of the day, we are speaking and doing what the Zambian people expect and cherish.
Okay. President SIMUYEMBA, thank you so much for making it to the Rise and Thrive breakfast show this morning. We can only wish you all the best in your pursuit to become the president of this country and your party becoming a governing party. We can only wish you all the best and God's blessings.
Thank you so much. Those who wish to call us can call us on 1977 77 6192 or 09566 40310. Don't bother about, we've faced a lot of encryptions. You find the number is showing a different number when somebody is calling, and we know what cyber security is in force. So don't be wary, just call us. When you call us, we can arrange a meeting where you are not tapped and you are not caught up in this oppressive environment that has been created by the UPND.
Okay.
Thank you, and God bless you, Zambians.
Okay, there you have it, viewers. That was President SIMUYEMBA from the Movement for Equality, from a movement for change and equality. Okay, fantastic. I have been your host, Tapelo Jos Mata is my name. On behalf of my director and my guest, President SIMUYEMBA, it's bye-bye. We'll see you when you see us. Good morning.